heating on, it's cold, we're back in the workshop, getting on with these projects. As it stands now, I have got rid of Kurt's Polo. The K24 Polo has gone back to Kurt's workshop to be finished. Now I am on with our 1.9 diesel conversion swap. That's now in the garage. It's time to get it finished because, as I've said in the previous video, I think this is going to be my new run around. So it's time to start putting the parts on that we've built in the past. So that being inlet manifold, make the boost pipes, finish the water system off a bit nicer with some stainless tubing, all the bits and pieces there to get close to the 300 brake horsepower mark and a stupid amount of torque. But my plan is, I'd like to do a comparison between this setup and a bog standard DXR Corsa, just to give a bit of a comparison, see what the difference is. So let's see how we get on this evening, let's see where we end up, but let's get cracking. So, we've got the big heater on, we're in the workshop. I've stripped the full front end off the Corsa. Stripped the front end off, and we're looking at building the log manifold and the turbo placement for the engine. The engine has to come out shortly to put all the other little odds and sods on, but stripped the front end, ready to go. We've got our head flange, which obviously fits nicely. Got our 2260 turbo, that's thinking what it was. We're looking now to see, where it's going to fit, what I'm going to do. And what I'm going to think of doing is doing a basic log manifold and looking at the welded on part of the turbo here. I think we're going to sit it around this area to keep it still very compact, all tucked in there still. I've got a nice boost pipe out, I can still get the water pipe down, and I can still get the inlet pipe up and out of the way. Let's get on with building the log manifold, and then we'll attach the turbo at the end. This is what I mean by a basic log manifold. It doesn't have to be nothing fancy, it's only a diesel, I don't really need to go all out and make a full tubular, but this is what I'm making. So as you can see, all the ports don't line up just about. So that means I need to chop each one, shorten them all up, get them all to fit really snug, and basically, make it so it's easier for me to weld in the future. So let's get on with that. Let's get it tacked together, and then we can start looking at better turbo placements. So, manifold now welded. We're now on to turbo position. I haven't welded this completely because I still think I might have to cut it off and play around with it. And I've not set up the heatsink block to bolt this down as yet, so I can do that at a later date. So now I'm on to turbo placement. What I've done is I've bought a larger T, and that's going to go something like, something like that somewhere. Bore an hole in there and weld that too. Don't know yet. Let's put it on the car. So we've got the manifold and the turbo on, and as usual with the YouTube people, welding police, where's the colour gone? There's no colour in it. I ended up touching it with my glove and burning an hole, so I've had to scotch it down so it didn't, it didn't look as bad. But hey ho, it's all welded, it's all gone to the other side. I'm quite happy. Still got this flange to weld, still got that flange to weld, but everything seems to fit. It clears around the back nice for the dipstick tube. I can get everything now built up. The return line, it's a bit low on this side, but I've put it as close to the block as I can. I think I've got probably an inch between the block and the turbo, so I might have to weld this up and drop it and put it into the sump, the return line. Don't know yet, but that can be done in the future. I think I'm going to start with the intake pipe, downpipe, and then possibly look at the boost pipes. I don't know. I'm just going to wing it and see where they end up. I think it's only probably just after dinner. We'll crack on and see. So I've started on the intake. Now, bear in mind, I need a 90mm MAF sensor to make this do the high numbers over the 260. So this is what I've made, but basically that's what's going to happen. Starts off at 2.5, swages out to 3, up here, which I could then swage out to my 90mm MAF to the air filter. That's now done. Let's get it buzzed round, get it in place, and then I think I'll start probably a downpipe to get it under there, because then I can start looking at other clearances. So let's get that intake pipe welded up, and we'll see where we end up. So you've seen me do the intake pipe, and I've just finished the downpipe. Again, I haven't filmed much of it because I I feel it is a bit of basic fabrication and people might not want to see it. If you do want to see the fab work behind it, give me a shout, and then the next time I do one of these builds, I'll film a bit more. But as you can see, flange 90, 90, and it goes off. And obviously I can't do that bit yet because I need to order a flexi. I've obviously turned a lamber bung on the lathe, lamber in. It's tacked but not welded because obviously I've still got to put it onto the heat soak block to absorb the heat so it doesn't bow when welding. That's kind of done. So now I'm starting the boost pipes. I'm starting with this one first. And if you saw the video of the inlet manifold, basically I got rid of the anti-shudder valve, EGR and some other bits and pieces. So technically my flange now, let's move that, sits flush with this edge. So this part here is redundant. So I can kind of stick that on there without a hose and start working off this bend. So that's my plan. I'm going to work off this bend, bring it down here, bring it around, and then bring it around the front. And then obviously the intercooler is going to go on there. But again, I don't know where I'm going to get up to. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 3:31 p.m.
We're 3:30. I started about 11, half 10, 11, something like that. I think I'm doing all right. I'm just going to plod on. I'm quite enjoying myself. Got some music on. Let's see where it is. So as you can see, a bit messy, but we're working. So I've put the front end on now to obviously see where I need the boost pipes to go and to see what clearance we've got. We've literally got, you know, 10, 20 mil in front of the turbo to the radiator. I'm not able to run the factory fan, but again, a generic off-the-shelf, cheap, you know, 12-inch fan will do the job, but at least it clears. And obviously, you know, the guys with the Astras and the Vetras and the bigger engine bays won't have this problem, but obviously with it being a Corsa D, it's tight in there. So what I've done is, obviously you saw me start the boost pipe. I've started it here. It's going down and I'm going to direct it out this bottom area. It clears the battery tray so the original battery can go into place and then it can come out down this bottom area. So it all seems to go on all right. We're going to get this boost pipe finished, then we're going to start mounting the intercooler. I've finished this side, I've joined it all up and I've fully welded it. So now this one comes out and ready to go round into the intercooler. This side is very, very simple because turbo's literally pointing outwards. So I've just made a 90-degree bend with a bit of a straight, which will go there, which brings it round to this side. So now I'm on with mounting the intercooler on the slam panel. Cheap eBay intercooler, don't need nothing more. And what I've done is I've made two little tabs and welded them onto the cross member. So basically I can bolt the intercooler to there and it'll sit bang in the middle of the front grille. They don't need to be overly beefy just to hold the intercooler because it's not holding no weight because you've still got the boost pipes and the silicone hoses holding the intercooler as well. It's more just so when you do take a boost pipe off, you can play with it and it's not going to fall out of place. So let's get this front cross member on and let's start finishing these boost pipes. Front mount intercoolers on. I've adapted the boost pipes. I've had to change this one because in my ultimate wisdom of not thinking, the bumper comes curved in. So if it was stuck further out, it would catch. So I've had to shorten this one a little bit. But I've put the joiners on to hold everything into place. So you can physically see everything clears, goes to the turbo. This one goes round, down and up. And into, this is still the stock inlet. I've still got to change that for the aftermarket one. Quite pleased with where I'm up to. We are now, I think, 6:30 in the evening. So that's manifold done, downpipe done, boost pipes done. A lot of the fab work's kind of, you know, finished and ticked off now. It is literally engine out, bigger pump, bigger rail sensor, some other little odds and ends I think that need, the inlet manifold that's been welded with all the junk taken off and basically clean the engine. Put it back in, final assembly, final weld all the flat flange faces with the heatsink block, and then I think it's ready then to finish the exhaust off and go for mapping. So for 6:30, I think I'm going to call it now. I might take the front end off and just have a bit of a prep for tomorrow. By, 7, half 7, I'll be done. For one day's work, where I'm up to, I'm very, very pleased. So let's start stripping the front end off and we'll pick this up tomorrow.